Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we have another NBA slate to break down on DraftKings for the 250K to first Game 3 of the NBA Finals between the Warriors and the Celtics. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is HeartTFS. I make daily NBA slate breakdowns on DraftKings as well as daily NBA prize pick videos. So today we have an early look at the slate for Wednesday's game, Game 3. Before getting into that, just want to look back at my lineup from the other night. I went with Tatum at captain, talked about, really liked him in a bounce back spot. As we know, just looking at my Twitter, NBA National Blowout Association, it's literally been one of the worst playoffs in probably recent memory when it comes to just these games and how consistent they are at blowing out. It's very, very frustrating and annoying. It's just super annoying. 30-point blowout for this game basically the other night. Ruined my lineup. As you can see, Tatum was on pace to have a fantastic game. Only one that could score for the Celtics. Game blew out. Wasn't able to get there. Steph did fantastic. He's been the most consistent on the Warriors side. Been great. Marcus Smart and Klay Thompson. I mean, really. 25 minutes, 2 points, four fouls, 5 turnovers. Just those stats alone, 4 turnovers. That's double his points. I mean, that's turnovers or fouls, double his points. Turnovers, double his points. 25 minutes. He was on pace again to get only 30 minutes in the game. I don't understand why they're limiting him in minutes. It makes no sense. Defensive Player of the Year. And he was only on pace for 30. Klay Thompson, just 4 of 19, just brutal. So you guys get the point. I'm not going to complain. It was a blowout. Not much you can do. I went the risky. I originally had Tatum, Curry, Smart, Draymond, and Derek White with Gary Payton at the bottom. I just didn't feel good going back to Draymond Green, so I switched up went with Clay and Robert Williams because Robert Williams got ruled in. They said he was limited on minutes, 20 to 25, yet pretty much the whole playoffs since he came back from injury, the most he's played is 28. He's usually floating around that 25-minute mark, so him being limited really didn't affect him at all. The ownership was not there. He was super low owned, which, was very surprising. That's why I went to him. Unfortunately, he kind of tweaked his knee a little bit, wasn't, being his normal self, and so he didn't really have the best of the game. Gary Payton Jr., Coach Kerr talked about how he'd be, getting some rotation minutes. Obviously, that's not very secure, but with Iguodala ruled out, Otto Porter Jr., he was in, but Iguodala was ruled out, so Gary Payton got some run, ended up guarding Tatum a bunch, did well, got a little bit of blowout run as well. So he did very, very good at 1,800. But yeah, blowout, not much you can do. Smart and Thompson were horrendous. Williams was a little bit hurt. And yeah, the winning lineup was Kevon Looney. There you go. Looney, Curry, Tatum, Green, Poole, and White. So I would have been in very, very good shape. I think of the top couple hundred once again if I played Draymond and White together. Unfortunately, I like to play risky, and it didn't work out. Game blew out. Those guys played terrible. So let's move on to this slate. Enough of that little rant. We got Steph at the top, most expensive guy in the slate, and for good reason. He's been the most consistent back-to-back games of 50-plus fantasy points. Now, he has been getting 3 steals, which is a little unusual. He's usually kind of averaging just closer to 1.3, as you can see on the season. So that's kind of a little bit high, but that's only an extra 4 points the past 2 games. Otherwise, he's been fantastic. He didn't really shoot that well last game, but still able to get you 29 points in a blowout. Could have got you a lot more. They didn't play the whole fourth quarter, so really like Steph once again. Most consistent. I mean, it's really hard not to get to him, at least in the utility spot, if not captain. Tatum, like running it back with him. He was well on his way to have a fantastic game. And the game blew out. So really like going back to him. He's the key of the Celtics offense. So even if they do bad, as you can see from last game, he's still able to put up some massive fancy points. So I really like them both. As a captain play, obviously, they're probably the most optimal when it comes to everyone on the board. As you can see, the past 2 nights, him and Tatum have gone off. So I don't mind getting to them. At least you can... And what's good about this pricing is you can fit a lot of these stars. Like, you can fit the top 3 stars priced on DraftKings in your lineup and with one of them at captain. So it just comes down to you getting different in the utility spots. I like to get very risky. It hasn't worked out. but hopefully that changes soon. If it's a close game, Clay does well or Marcus Smart does well. But yeah, Tatum, Curry, really like both of them. Brown, 1,400 less than Tatum. But as you can see, he's very score independent. Started off that last game, I think 9 straight points, didn't miss a shot. And then he went like 4 of 12 the rest of the game. You know, he will get you peripheral stats, but he's very score independent at times. Sometimes he'll, only score, get you a few peripherals, and he won't really pay off his salary to the point they need him to. But I don't mind getting to him. He's consistent, at least, getting you 30-plus fantasy points. Marcus Smart, 7-8. I mean, you just heard my rant about him, but I don't know. I understand why his minutes are getting limited. 30. He was on pace for 30 again. Pritchard and White are somehow stealing Marcus Smart's minutes. Why not limit Robert Williams, slide Al Horford to the 5, go small ball with Tatum at the 4, Brown at small forward, White at shooting guard, and Smart at point guard. That's a way better lineup than limiting Marcus Smart and having him sit on the bench. Makes no sense. No wonder why Steph is going off, because Marcus Smart was doing pretty well defensively on Steph for the most part throughout the game when he was playing. So I like running it back with Marcus Smart. As you guys have probably heard me say for the past 2 months, really like buying back on guys who've come off, a bad game, maybe a few bad games in a row, who are guys who have the volume, should have the minutes, should have the opportunities to score. I really like Marcus Smart, especially at home. So I don't mind getting to him as captain as well. Definitely has some huge upside. Same thing with Al Horford. Only shot 4 times. Everyone on the Celtics side just looked horrendous. It was just a very bad game. I'd say throw it out the window. Look at the previous game. So I do think we expect Al closer to 40 minutes. Maybe 35 is a safe amount you can project him for. Not going to score 26 as he did the first game, but he does have that upside. Usually out there just for the peripherals, can score. So really like Al in a bounce back spot here. Does have captain upside, but it's more like once every 5-6 games. I'd rather put Smart in the captain, but really like Al in the utility spot. Thompson, I'm going to keep riding him until he has that one game. Hasn't happened so far. Really screwed me the past 2, but especially this past one, 4 of 19. But what you do like, what you can take from this game is they were really forcing the ball to Clay. 4 of 19. They left him in the fourth quarter for 5-6 minutes because Steve Kerr wanted him to get in getting in just extra run, get him into a shooting motion, get him into form. He's not looked good at all. So Steve Kerr left him out there. He's like, hey, go out there, play 5-6 minutes. We're going to try to get you the ball, get you back into form. Didn't work. He missed every shot, but really like how they're, trying to get him back up to top tier shape. So I like Clay 7-4, super risky. As you can see, the past 2 games been brutal, but I like getting risky in those tournaments to try to take down all the money. So I think I'm going to run back to Clay at the utility spot. Wiggins, obviously a lot safer as of right now compared to Clay, Marcus Smart, and Al Horford, and he's cheaper. He's going to see close to 40 minutes guarding, Tatum or Brown, whoever it may be. He's been very aggressive shooting the ball, since the Dallas series, which is what you do like to see. Obviously, the game blew out. Got limited when it came to scoring. Didn't need him as much. So he kind of had a letdown game. Usually he's kind of floating around that 35-ish fantasy point mark, high 20s in the 35-point range. So I do like Andrew Wiggins a good amount at 7-2 in the utility spot. Don't think he has enough upside as a captain unless he, does really well and Steph and Clay and them do well, also do well, but to the point where they're kind of capped, where it's kind of even scoring throughout their whole team. Then, Wiggins can definitely get there, but then there's opportunities for guys on the Celtics side to kind of get their optimal captain spot. But like him in the utility range. Draymond Green, same thing, he's kind of gotten limited, especially last game when it came to fantasy output with the blowout, but has done a little bit better. I'm just scared in this next game the Warriors are going to get blown out, whether it be Draymond Green getting ejected, or the Celtics just coming out very, very hot at home. I just Draymond with these refs, I think they're going to, tee him up at least once, if not twice in that next game, just because all he does is just chirp people, chirp the refs, get into little fights. The dude's just so annoying on the court. So I can definitely see him getting thrown out next game. But if you want to take that risk, you can definitely throw him in the utility spot. He does have some upside. Maybe throw him in the captain if you're feeling super, super risky, but he hasn't really flashed the upside yet. He can't really score well at all. So that really limits his upside as a captain. Kevon Looney, 21 minutes and he puts up almost 32 fantasy points. I think in a 3-minute span, he got all 3 of his steals and a block. Like the Celtics really driving the lane, giving him the ball. It wasn't like he was having to go anywhere to make these steals, jumping past lanes. He was really standing there and they drop the ball to him and you pick it up. So that's just free 6 points right there. Another 2 points for a block. That is 8 points right there for Kevon Looney. I don't really expect this. His minutes are coming down, 25, 21. The game did blow out, but he did get some run in the fourth. 6 of 6 from the field. I know most of them are dunks, layups, but he's getting very lucky with these peripheral stats. On the season, he didn't even average a block a game. He got maybe a steal per game, if that, during the regular season. So he's just getting very lucky with these the blocks and steals that are really helping out his fantasy score. Otherwise, he just wouldn't want to be in the captain spot, the optimal, as we saw, last game. He was the optimal captain, and he probably wouldn't be in the utility spot as an optimal lineup, just with how many minutes he's getting and just how lucky. So I'm not going to personally play Looney. I do feel he's getting very lucky with these fantasy points and how he's gaining them. I don't really think the Celtics match up good for him. He will start, he will play, but definitely expect him to start getting limited soon. Running with guys like Iguodala and Otto Porter Jr., they don't really need Kevon Looney out there. So if you guys want to run with him, you can. I'm not going to do it. I just think he's been getting very lucky. Jordan Poole, I talked about, he does have upside. He came in, shot the ball well, especially from 3. I just think it was a little bit lucky for him. He's just been very bad, and he plays like he's at like LA Fitness going 1-5. Like he just does the craziest moves, just tries to do step back threes. They're falling last game. I think the Celtics just matched up too well against him defensively for him to have any, really big games off the bench, especially with Clay and Steph back. It's very hard to get to Poole as a captain now, kind of, factoring everything in. He does have upside for, a nice utility spot play, but the minutes are kind of limited as well. He played only 23 in a blowout, and that's with playing some minutes in the blowout as well. So I don't think I had to get there. At 6'4", Poole is just not for me right now, unless one of those guys on the Warriors side gets hurt for some reason. But yeah, not for me. Robert Williams, we'll have to keep an eye on the news. We do have a few days of rest for him, so maybe he will be back to normal. They said he was limited, but it was his normal amount of minutes. So we'll have to see for this next game. If he plays, I like taking a shot on him. Not a lot of people are going to play him. As you saw last game, he was only like 17% owned. So 6K, he does have upside into the 30s and the high 20s. And at that price, low ownership, don't mind going back to Robert Williams. Derek White, I wish they would just raise his price just so people would get off of him. He's been super chalky. He's done well. He's hit. Eating into Marcus Smart's minutes for some reason makes no sense, but he's been, pretty good off the bench. So at 5'8", I don't mind getting to him. He's been pretty consistent. Obviously, he can have games where he just does horrendous, but as of right now, he's just getting those peripheral stats that really helped out his score. 2 blocks and a steal. Before that, he was getting, hitting all his threes. So he's another guy that's been very lucky when it comes to just kind of extra points falling to him. But I don't mind playing him at 5,800. Otto Porter Jr., I wasn't too involved last game, only 15 minutes, only hit 1 shot. He did get you 3 steals as well. So another thing about lucky points, but obviously those things happen. I think the Warriors had 15 steals all together throughout that game, which is just a ton. Not normal at all. So I don't mind him at 4.6, as we can see. He's a guy who can put up a good amount of points in a small amount of minutes. He will get limited to around 25, 26-ish. He won't play any more than that, but he can, get you some good fantasy points at 4,600. Who else we got here? Grant Williams, 4,200, foul trouble. 21 minutes, his minutes did come up, 11 fantasy points. Maybe he does better at home. He really hasn't been a factor in this rotation. As I, said at the beginning of the series, like the Heat, I said Grant Williams maybe will have, more opportunities to do well. He really just hasn't been part of the rotation, Understandably, they really haven't needed him in terms of him hitting corner threes because the Warriors are able to defend that because they are small. But if Robert Williams, is limited or doesn't play, we can expect Grant Williams to at least get 20 plus minutes. And if he's, if they're looking to get him to shoot the three ball a lot, like they did that Heat game where he shot it 18 times and hit 27 or 7 of them for 27 points, there is a shot of him, being a decent utility spot. But I just don't think I'm going to go there as of right now. We'll have to wait on that news of Robert Williams playing. Pritchard will probably see close to 15 to 20 minutes. Did get some blowout run, so there's extra few minutes there. A good point per minute guy. It just really comes down to Marcus Smart gets limited, or there's one of their guards gets hurt or injured. Pritchard's going to come in and do well. Derek White's not doing well. Maybe they'll go to look to Pritchard, but 3,800, I just don't think you could take a shot on him yet. I like running it back with Gary Payton. He did get blowout run, but he was going to see probably close to 20 minutes. Now, maybe Iguodala coming back does affect Gary Payton, but they did put him out there. He did well, especially guarding Tatum. I know Tatum hit a 3 over him and they got him a foul on him, but he did decent enough to where at 3K, he's definitely worth taking a dart throw on at 3K. So I don't mind going to him at 3K. Bielitsa played 11 minutes, some blowout run. If Iguodala's back, I don't think he should go to Bielitsa. He probably won't play at all. Tice got like 15 minutes, 14. Don't think he had to go there. That really does it. In Iguodala, if he plays, I would assume he'd be probably limited to 15, maybe 20 at most. He can get you some fancy points. That can get him into the optimal lineup at 1K, but we'll just have to wait on that news for him and Robert Williams. They kind of affect the low salary value plays. But as of right now, we kind of know how this game is going to go. Hopefully it's close. If it is, it's usually going to come from Steph doing well, Tatum doing well, and on the Celtics side, either it's going to be Brown, Smart, or Horford stepping up. On the Warriors side, as of right now, it's been Wiggins stepping up as that second man. Thompson kind of doing nothing. Same with Poole. So we'll have to see. Hopefully it's a lot better of a game. Hopefully it's not a blowout. But blowouts have been frustrating. But hope you guys enjoyed this early look. We can build a few lineups right now as well. Let's just start with, I like Marcus Smart in the bounce back spot here. Does have upside. As we can see, 36 got limited in that little bit of blowout, but 47 in the Miami series, 40, 39, 64. So he can be a high upside optimal captain. Let's just throw him in there. I do think he has to get to Tatum. If Marcus Smart if he's doing well, Tatum still has a huge path for him to do it well as well. I think you have to get to Steph just with how consistent he's been. I like getting different with Klay Thompson. Then we can throw in a guy like, let's just say, Gary Payton, and then it leaves you with 6,100 left over. You can get risky with going with Robert Williams, Derek White, Grant Williams, all that stuff. Let's just do Derek White. 300 left over. I don't think this would be a unique lineup in these 250K to first, maybe in a smaller single entry, but I don't mind getting into this. Let's get chalky. Let's just go Steph at the top again. I don't know why it switches it off. Steph. Let's say we think the, Celtics are going to, actually, let's think the Celtics, come out hot. Warriors are not going to hit their threes or shots. They're going to do bad. Celtics win game 3. Let's just do, Tatum, Brown. I think you would need Pritchard or White in there. And let's just we'll do Horford. And then you could throw in a guy like, I do think you can still fit in Steph. 1K left over. I mean, you could throw in Kuminga. You'd get, some backup run. Leaves you 800 left over. This is a huge, obviously, 4-2 stack. You would hope Steph would at least get you, 20, 30 fancy points, and then Kuminga would be coming off the bench, especially if there's a blowout for multiple quarters. But it's one of those things you shouldn't predict that, and you can't. So I just say play it like it's going to be close, and that's really it. Let's build one more. Let's do a Klay. Maybe it's the day Klay goes off. we'll have to see. But Clay, throw Draymond Green in there, even though he's probably going to get thrown out. Tatum, Brown. We'll throw in Otto Porter Jr. 7,100 left over. You know, you could throw in Looney, but you could also go to, you know, Jordan Poole off the bench. You know, maybe full fading Steph isn't, you know, the best, but maybe it's one of those games where they try to lock up Steph. Other people are going to have to step up. You know, maybe you get to Poole off the bench, something like that. You know, kind of just throwing lineups out there for you guys to see. You kind of have to play through those scenarios. But if you guys liked the video, definitely leave it a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you do get notified when I put out new videos. This is just more of an early look, just talking through, you know, last night's game. Looking forward to game 3 and, you know, building some lineups. So if you do like the video, hit the like button. I'll have another video coming out tomorrow for NBA prize picks, I believe, just an early look at those prize picks. And yeah, hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Do appreciate all you guys' support, especially all the new subscribers and the old ones as well. You know, thank you guys for everything. It's been nice. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Enjoy your 2 days off.